in 2004, the world as we know it changed. A 24-year-old man named Mark Zuckerberg launched a website called Facebook to make this world a more connected and inclusive place. It was beautiful. Keeping in touch had never been easier, and you could be connected to your friends and family and be a part of their lives, one upload at a time. As time went by, it evolved. Hashtags, photo uploads, wall. I don't even know the countless number of features that it evolved to. In 2010, there was another breakthrough called Instagram. Photo sharing had been revolutionized. It was now even easier to showcase your life through photos and videos. But you guys obviously know about this. It's like teaching physics to Einstein. But it's not pointless banter. There's a reason for me speaking about this, and that is that while you may be aware of all of this technology and how it's been disruptive in nature, you may not necessarily realize that with it comes a virtual world, one that is very different from everyday life. Let me start from the beginning of my story. I launched Humans of Bombay on social media on Jan 28th, 2014. I was so naive and unprofessional back then that the very first Humans of Bombay logo was created on Microsoft Word, and my cover photo was created on Collage Maker. I was so lazy that I didn't even bother removing that Collage Maker at the bottom, so that's still up there. But anyways, I launched it, and I still remember the feeling of watching the likes grow. Within the first 2 hours, we had 1,000 likes, and within the first week, we had 10,000. I definitely felt like I was onto something. With time, Humans of Bombay grew, the numbers grew. We're at 900,000 organic followers right now, and it bugs me that we're still not at 1 million. We reach about 5 million people a week. We've crowdfunded over 2 crores in the past 2 years for various causes. We've been featured in every major publication in the country and a few globally. And we're also en route to releasing our first set of films. It all sounds perfect, but it really isn't, and it's never been. That's the thing. What social media brings with it is this idea of a perfect picture and a perfect life. Before this talk, I kind of went through my own Instagram, and I saw this beautiful montage of experiences. There were talks like these, publications in Forbes Asia, beautiful travels. You can say everything that was the high point of my life. And it all looks so perfect and well fit. But as I was writing this talk, it actually made me feel really deceiving and really shallow, because that's not how life always is, and that's not what life is about. The thing about this social media bubble, as I like to call it, is that you scroll through Instagram, you follow this model or that blogger or just your friends, and you go through life believing that everybody is perpetually happy and everybody is perpetually having these victorious moments in life while you are living a pretty average life. Believe me, I get it. My obsession with Gigi Hadid is almost unhealthy, and I get it. But that's the sad truth about it. And I feel that this is only because everybody is so obsessive about sharing their victories and sharing their high points, and not how they actually got there, which is pretty much every person's trajectory. It's failure. So I've spoken a couple of times about what I've learned from Humans of Bombay, what it's taught me, and the success of it. But today I thought I'd do something different and speak about how I failed, which I did over and over again on my journey here. So back to college. I was a business economics double major in the University of Nottingham. And I'd been a straight A student all my life. And for the first time in university, I failed. I failed 2 economics modules, and it was terrible. I remember feeling like I'd completely lost what I was or what I used to be. But while this was going on in my life, the photo I was sharing was of this beautiful lake on my campus in Nottingham, completely different from what I was actually going through. That's how deceptive it can be. When I came back after my undergrad, I actually decided to take a sabbatical of 6 months, which not a lot of people do. In hindsight, it was a great decision because it allowed me the time to kind of explore myself and see what I want to do in life. But back then, I dealt with a deep anxiety. All of my friends who I was studying with in college were either getting a master's, an MBA, or were at high-paying jobs with 6-figure salaries. And I was at home reading, exploring, kind of writing, but not really knowing what I wanted to do in life. And that anxiety was very, very much evident in my everyday life, but not once was that shown in my perfect Instagram feed. It was during this time that I actually launched my first company, which not a lot of people know about. It was called Knock. And I don't even remember what the name means anymore, but it was something fancy. And the basic idea was, at the age of 21, with my teaspoon worth of experience, I wanted to have positive thinking and affirmation classes for people all over Bombay. It worked for me in the sense that it balanced me out and kind of prepared me for like a more aligned future, but as a startup, it failed. And not a lot of people even know that I created something like this before Humans of Bombay, but I did. As it failed, there was more anxiety. My parents were worried. I was going through this huge contemplation phase. Should I just get a job for the sake of it, even though I don't really know what I want to do, even though I don't really know what I love doing or what I'm passionate about? But I guess the positivity classes paid off for somebody, and that is just me, because completely randomly and out of the blue, I stumbled upon the idea of Humans of Bombay, and I started it. And it clicked. That period was a high of its own. To start something new and exciting, to get features in a publication, to be known was amazing. And it was an experience that I'll always hold really close to my heart. But as I was happily boasting about it, what most people don't know is that it took an immense sacrifice to get that following. For the first 3 years, Humans of Bombay didn't make any income. It was completely bootstrapped and self-run, and I was pretty much not making any money. While most people were gushing about this new blog on the block, I was still financially dependent, and that basically sucked. Can you imagine feeling on top of the world and getting an article in Forbes Asia, but the next minute you were getting pocket money from your parents? It was a grounding, and it was a feeling of not knowing. I questioned myself a lot during this period. Where was this going? What was I set out to achieve? And would it even mean something in the future? I guess I went with the flow of things and just allowed it to be for a while. But as time progressed, of course, Humans of Bombay monetized. But we also came out with a book. And if any of you here are planning on becoming writers, I'll give you a very succinct disclaimer that there isn't any money there. But I became an author at the age of 24. And I started to feel confident. I began to feel like, okay, maybe I had made some sort of a mark in the world. And I was worth something, or I had some value to me. But my bubble burst pretty quickly, and it was an unfortunate tryst with Bollywood. Don't worry, I didn't try to become an actress or anything. I just tried to interview one. And this is actually one of the incidents that really shaped how I saw myself. So back, I think it was a year ago, this movie called Dear Zindagi was releasing. And somebody from the Red Chillies team actually approached me to interview Alia Bhatt. And I was super excited. I was like, wow, they thought of Humans of Bombay, they thought of me. I must be doing something right. And of course, I wanted to do it because I wanted to feature the human side to somebody who's so well known and who's in the public eye all the time. I went for the interview. I was super excited. I reached 15 minutes before time, you know, just being professional. Had all my questions. My photographer was with me. It was like a whole deal. And I reached there, and I was basically made to wait in this really tiny corridor. And I figured, I was like, okay, you know, it's human. There are times I'm late. There's times when everybody's late. It's fine. But I was made to basically endlessly wait. And every time I asked when the interview could happen or would happen, I was told 15 more minutes, just 15 more minutes. And I ended up waiting for 2 hours and 45 minutes, just doing nothing. And that's the time I actually decided, you know what, this is not working out. Like, I don't feel like I should aimlessly wait, because the last time I checked, again, they were like 15 more minutes. So I went to the person who I was in touch with. She was a Red Chillies manager. And I said, you know, I have another commitment, I'm going to leave. And she said, she just shrugged her shoulders and said, okay, that's fine. But just to let you know, it's normal to wait for a superstar for 4 or 5 hours. And that's something that really hit me, because I believe that, you know, there's value to offer from everybody. But I left that place feeling dejected and really small. And I started to think about, you know, this whole process of this whole bubble that we live in, where, you know, we're following these celebrities on Instagram, we're following them on social media, and we think it's a great life. But you don't know what goes on behind the scenes, because it's spoken about so seldom or so not very often. I left that place feeling like, you know, I don't know what I did wrong. Did I say something? Did I do something? Should I just have waited it out? But in hindsight, I feel like I did the right thing. The funniest and the best part about this whole thing is that Alia Bhatt probably didn't even know I was there, but I was. And she created an experience in my life that actually taught me a pretty decent lesson that I feel has helped me along the way. So I was supremely humiliated and embarrassed after this incident and decided to bury it. I was like, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just going to let it be, and I'm going to focus on my work and prove a point by doing better work and by creating a name for myself. But I feel like that experience was necessary for me and for my life, only because it shaped how I saw myself. And I realized that if I were to value myself, I could never let that happen to me again. And I haven't. Never again have I waited aimlessly for somebody or something and put myself down. And I think that was an important lesson for me to learn. It also made me more aware of other people's time. So I actually plan my meetings and my schedule in such a way that I'm never late. And I think that's a great habit to have. All my failures actually have had a deep impact on me and have taught me really valuable lessons. My first startup failing just taught me to have faith and believe in me and to believe in the process and not overthink too much. Not making money initially made me value it a lot more when I did make it. And endlessly waiting for a celebrity made me realize my self-worth and self-value, which I feel is really important to have. And these are only some of my failures. I've literally had so many downs that I can't even calculate it and I can't even express it. And I've had my share of downers. I've been through a heartbreak. I've been unable to function. I've been a complete mess. I've had people speak not very favorably about me. I've been upset to the point where I didn't want to get out of bed on a particular day. I've met all kinds of people, but I've lost old friends as well. And I feel like the whole experience of it has just been an up and a down. I've had my share of questioning what's wrong with me, and I did my stubborn best to hide it from the way I portray myself on social media. And that's only because it didn't match the life I was trying to portray was mine. Now, that doesn't mean that the next time you're going through a heartbreak, you take to Facebook and write an open letter to an ex. It doesn't mean that. It just means that you know that everybody does have a down, everybody struggles, and everybody fails at some point in their life. But it's only if you're high and low, and if you're up and down, that you know that you have a heart that's beating, and that you're alive. Today, I'm here because of accumulation of my failures, and I'm very, very proud to say that. I'm here because I chose to embrace it and not give up. I'm here because I had faith in the only person who I needed to have faith in through this whole journey, and that was me. I failed, therefore I am. And that is the most real, most honest, and most reliable truth of my life. Thank you.